getting stomped to death. His uncle was a football player, and that hit the news, and so that just sort of like made the Crips what it is today. From there, you know, a lot of guys turned around, was getting beat up, and started forming their own little clique, which is called the Bloods now today. And things just got bigger, you know.
The reason why we aligned ourselves with the Bloods instead of the Crips was the Crips had killed a boy by the name of Robert Ballou up at the Palladium. They beat him to death over a leather coat. We couldn't see no justification in that. And the Crips were growing, and the bigger they got, the meaner they got, the more senseless stuff that they did.
In Compton, Big Hub and the homies tell us what's up in the hood.
From Compton Boulevard to Rosecrans to Alameda, that's how big our hood was at first. Now it's expanding farther now.
One time, Compton PD said they used to hear the gunshots and wait till they finish shooting, then they'll come. Martin Luther King Hospital have the best bullet wound doctors in the United States of America. They have the best trauma in the United States of America. You know why? Because this is Gunshot City. I seen death at my eye 4 or 5 times.
West Coast gangster rap has done a lot to influence the spread of LA gangs across the nation and the world.
As far as gangster rappers, man, I'm not feeling that. It'd be hard for me to turn around and feel anybody to front like they're a gangster. You know, I put some unnecessary work out there from 69 all the way to 85 and a little past that. You know what I mean? So it'd be hard for some guy to come in the 80s talking about he a gangster. And they all need to turn around and come together and quit acting like little old broads, and shit like this here, and leave all this stuff alone. If you're gonna make music, you know, come on, bring it on home. You know, when the nigga turn around and advocate all that, you know, kind of shit like they so hard and shit, it makes a real soldier know, man, that you nothing but a whore.
LA gangs have left the sunny streets of California and headed east, with affiliates popping up in cities across the U.S. and even overseas.
Other cities been forming Crips and Bloods since about the late 1980s. It started really with West Coast cities like Las Vegas, Portland, Oregon, Seattle, Washington, San Diego, San Francisco. You got Bloods and Crips in Germany. They got Bloods and Crips in Holland. They got Bloods and Crips in Paris. I travel all over the world, and I can tell, you know, real LA gang members have been here. And then other times I could tell that these guys are copying something they saw in a magazine article or something they may read in Feds magazine.
We had a saying way back, you know, Crip or die. Crips don't die, they multiply. You know, and we said that, but we never thought that it'd turn around and end up in a situation like it is today, you know what I mean? That they did multiply, you know what I mean? You know, niggas started trying to go to other neighborhoods, you know, out of the state to turn around and try to turn their life around, but then got caught up telling other people about what their life was in LA. And, you know, when you turn around and go out different states, you start telling them what the life was about LA, then you start getting more guys around you, then you start getting more guys around you, then you just formed another gang. So you done cross yourself back in it.
Really, since the early 90s, you're starting to see, you know, a whole lot of West Coast cities, you know, East Coast cities. And when I mean East Coast, east of the Mississippi, places that you never thought you'd see Bloods and Crips, like in D.C., in Philly, and even in New York.
New York in particular has become a hotbed for LA gang activity, with leaders like OG Mac bringing the Bloods to the East Coast.
Again, I say that's the mentality of a child. A grown man would have more responsibility. OG Mac wasted a lot of time. He destroyed a lot of lives. He spreaded a lot of lies. What could he tell him? What could he tell the brothers in New York? All he could do is reciprocate something that was taught to him inside the penitentiary. You know what I'm saying? Which was a blood gang inside the penitentiary. But it wouldn't do any good on the streets of New York, because New York needed something deeper than that, needed something stronger than that.
Don't believe the myth, New York. Don't believe the myth, Chicago, Kansas, and all the other states. Don't believe that BS that y'all hear about Crips and Bloods. We're dirty. When it comes down to it, we ain't no damn good.
Programs like Jim Brown's American use former gang members and ex-offenders like Rockhead and Bobby Broham to get the message out that there's a better way of life.
What I represent, as far as Compton, is original OCC. OCC, original Compton Crip. I was shot 11 times, stabbed 3 times. I did 17 years incarcerated. 7 years the first time, got out for 1 year, back in for 10 years. 8 years in Folsom State Prison. You know what I mean? But now National Chief of Staff for American Program, which I deal with youth.
I want to help somebody. I want to clean my slate back. I used to rob banks. I want to clean my slate now by helping your nephew when you're not around, or your son when you're not around, like the grandparents did for us, for my generation. I want to help now.
These OGs are making an effort to give back to the communities they came from, trying to stem the flow of violence and the spread of gang culture.
We got everything against us right now, you know, where we should turn around and know how to form to turn around and own our community, not hurt our community, you know, far as, you know, building up the community. I just hope that, you know, what needs to happen, we need to turn around and get all these rappers together, you know what I'm saying, and, you know, cut all the foolishness off and really call the truth.
Well, we've always wanted to be part of positivity. They didn't give us a chance to be part of it. So that was one thing right there. We got a bum rap at being gangsters and being thugs and being so forth and so on. But you have to keep in mind that all of us were somebody's children, somebody's grandbabies, somebody's brothers, somebody's sisters. And they couldn't take that away from us. What they did was dehumanize us altogether by saying that we were this or we were that. It's just like that's what they did with white supremacy. It's like what they did with slavery times. They dehumanized the slaves in order to kill the slaves and have nobody else worry about slavery, about the slave being killed. The new generation is more trigger happy. They're more media orientated. They're more, you know, if it's in the video, I want to do it, bling, bling. You know, I want to live like Tony Montana. I want to live like Scarface. So they're more into that than into being what they should be into, which is love, peace, truth, freedom, and justice.
The LA gang culture has resulted in hundreds of years of prison sentences and thousands of lives lost. Hopefully, with the help of OGs like Bobby Broham, who know all too well the cost of banging, we can stop this madness.
I'm not afraid, because when my son was killed in '96, I died right then and there with him. Do what you're gonna do to me, because I'm gonna speak up. You know, my people are dying and suffering. I'm gonna say what I got to say. I'm not running for nobody's office, and I'm gonna do what I got to do. One people, one hood, one love, one God.